could. I don't know if this kid's homeschool me.
Call the meeting to order. The meeting for October 25th, 2021 at approximately 6 p.m. is now in session. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilperson Fisher? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, Tony. I'll take the roll call. Councilperson Ginever. Here. Councilperson Schonberg. Absent. Councilperson Becker.
I'm here.
Councilperson Fisher.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Councilperson Bradley.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Councilperson Massa. Councilperson Osher.
Present.
Councilperson Picarella.
Present.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, has this agenda been posted, dated, signed, and or initialed? Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes of September the 20th, 2021?
I'll move to approve the minutes from September 20th,
Second.
including the public hearing, excuse me.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Public comment. Heather Crosby, Community Repair and Beautification Project. Yes, ma'am, you may have the floor.
I do have a couple of handouts to provide to the
Sure.
council members. And in the interest of time, as I was informed that this was a full agenda, I chose not to do a full presentation. I do. If I can have one more minute. essentially, I just wanted to, advise the council, I guess, request permission from the council, although it is my understanding that there has been limited conversation, and I was informed that I could go ahead and move forward with, contacting, organizations and stores and starting the process of trying to help individuals. But essentially, the gist of it is all in front of you on those papers for you to read at your leisure. The date of the event and community service project that I'm wishing to do is November 13th. It is a Saturday. It is World Kindness Day, but I've also been made aware that that is also the first opening day of deer season. For His Families, Inc. is my nonprofit organization, and through it I operate a program called The Project. I'm located right next to Crystal City Elementary School, and many of the volunteers that come through are students, grade school students, though I do have some that are junior high level and a few high schoolers, as well as their parents that are beginning to finally start participating and enjoy some of the projects that we are doing. This project on November 13th, specifically, we're wishing to serve some of the families that live south of Bailey, specifically within, if you think of a block or a square of Bailey to Broadway, Chestnut, Pine, and Walnut, and the eastern boundary of Mississippi Avenue and western boundary of Maple. And then my hope would be next year to do the same thing and continue beyond Walnut Street and serve families that are Olive Street and even further south. But so I have, using information from the property viewer function through Jefferson County Assessor site, identified approximately 50 homes that appear to be owner-occupied. I am meeting with each of those families and speaking with them about this, obtaining waivers and such, and seeing if they are open to us working with them. You know, obviously I don't want to push us onto them if they don't want any help or don't want anyone to help them pull any weeds or help mend a step or something of that nature. Our project is not intended to re-roof or re-side any homes. This is minor exterior repairs and yard maintenance, cutting grass, pulling weeds, maybe putting some mulch and things in the yard, things of that nature. The homes or properties that were not identified as owner-occupied are also, however, receiving letters in the mail. So those rental properties that are out there will be receiving letters advising of this event that's going on and inviting them to hopefully participate and, you know, in working on their property and in their yard, and we hope to see their smiles, you know, and activity in their yards as well, and joining us that day in this event. So my hope is that we'll have, you know, smiling faces and laughter kind of in every yard in that area. Just before walking through the doors, I hung up with a gentleman that was reaching out from an area church who has a connection with a friend of a friend of a friend, bounce houses and things of that nature. No commitments yet to that extent. It was just a question that was placed to me and asking if that would be of interest. I said, well, if you think you can get that, let's see. So I don't know how big or how small this will be. We're just under that 3-week mark away from that event. So this could be small, like a backyard barbecue kind of event, or it could end up being a larger event. I have spoken with Bloomsdale Bank about potentially using their back parking lot that day, for the food portion of this. If you think similar to an Amish barn raising, it's not just building the barn, they celebrate. They have food involved, and the communities and the family come together. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I would like to see some unity occur through this. And that's why we're calling it the Umoja Project. And the students that have been participating with me, we're excited to learn about this, and the Swahili word for unity is umoja. And so that's our goal, is unity within the community and to have everyone come together. I do hope that everyone here would like to be involved. I even considered bringing golden hammers for each of you to potentially join us. However, I understand that everyone's schedules are busy, but if anyone is available, the more hands, the merrier. I would love to see everyone participating that day, even if it's just for, an hour of time to make a difference in the lives of our community.
Chief, you got any questions? I don't think so. Council?
If it's all gonna be on private property and she's just approaching individual homeowners, I don't see any, issue with it. Also, there's no need for us to move to shut down the streets or anything like that, so. Go ahead.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is new business, is Mr. Eric Stopp, Audit Review. You may have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Make sure I understand Eric Stopp with Stopp and Van Hoy, here to present the 2021 audit. Molly Malone from our office, one of our partners, she has taken over as the partner in charge of this audit the last couple of years. She's currently out in the fabulous city of Las Vegas at a government continuing ed conference, so she sends her regards, so I think she's very happy where she's at right now. Molly also wanted to say that Shelley, Jason, Barb, working with them this year has been, like always, wonderful. Can't ask for anything better than audit client, and really appreciate it from the city. As far as the audit report itself goes, like normal, I'm not going to refer to any particular page within the report. I'm going to kind of go off the slides here. If you have any questions regarding the report itself, feel free to ask me any questions. But again, I'm not going to reference anything here particularly.
Eric, I read through some of this, and the only question I wanted to ask you, if you want to hit this when you're going through it,
Sure.
is you said it's an unqualified opinion, and then it seems like there's a qualification with regard to the retirement issue, so I'm sure you'll discuss that as we usually do.
We do have a modified opinion this year regarding GASB 83 retirement obligation.
Okay.
Asset retirement obligation, not the pension.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, I'm just going to hit this here just
Oh, I'm
briefly.
sorry, yep.
So yes, we did issue an unmodified opinion on the government fund statement, but there was a modified opinion on the business type and proprietary, the water and sewer fund. And the real nature of that is, Crystal City has a joint venture, as you all know, the sewage treatment facility with City of Festus. GASB 83 was a new standard that came out. Anytime you have an asset like the sewer, the sewage treatment facility, the gist of the new standard says is you have to go out there and you have to put a cost on what it will take to shut that down to the point in time where you can walk away from it. And these numbers really have to be EPA approved. Whatever the EPA would say, what's the other Missouri? DNR.
Yeah.
everything that you would have to do to be able to walk away from that facility with no liabilities, no obligations in the future. That cost would have to be obtained. To get that number, it's a very costly, time-consuming number to derive. There'd be a lot of, you'd almost have to get an actuary involved again to say what is the ongoing cost, all the remediation that would have to be done, hauling all the sewage out, capping every line that there is. And with this, like I said, it's very costly and time-consuming to do. So the determination is that we're not going to implement the standard. Therefore, we have to modify the report with respect to just that piece of it, and that is what we did. And the same thing, because again, this is a joint venture. Festus chose to do the same exact thing. They have now a modified opinion on theirs as well. Does that answer your question fully, or? Okay. Just a few other highlights. Government activities, unrestricted cash increased $495,000. Restricted cash increased to $325,000. We did have an increase in our pension liability of $385,000. As always, I like to point out we paid every dollar that we were required to pay. The actuaries sit out there and they tell us what we owe into perpetuity, and then there's what's sitting in the underlying assets to cover that liability. So in this particular year, we had a $325,000 increase. It's one of those numbers that we don't have, you as a city don't have a whole lot of control over. You paid in every dollar that you needed to pay. Net position of the city is essentially retained earnings. It's the assets minus liabilities. Increased $587,000. We did have an increase in long-term debt with government activities of $2.1 million. We refinanced some of the notes payable, and we also built a street complex. So we did issue the COPs for that purpose. Both restricted and unrestricted cash in the water and sewer did increase. Again, we had an increase in the pension liability. Part of the overall pension liability for the city is split between government activities and the water and sewer fund. We also had an increase of $1.3 million of debt in the water and sewer fund. We refunded the old COPs and issued new ones and did some additional construction process items here in the city. We had a decrease of net position in the water and sewer fund of $95,000. The city did receive $368,000 CARES funds. I'm sure you are all well aware of that. And then, yes, the street complex that we were just talking about that increased the debt and the activities was around $911,000 of asset that was put into place in the fiscal year. The next are a few slides, fairly self-explanatory. Sales tax revenue increase in 2021, and I believe a function of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Festus passed a sales tax over at Walmart. Passed an increase in their sales tax. Part of that hits Walmart, and so by default we get half of that increase at the Walmart location. Property tax. This one, don't be deceived by the small increments on this slide. We had an increase in property tax, but I think the way the slide is formatted, it makes it look larger than it really is. And again, if I'm correct on this one, we had some delinquent property tax owners that finally got caught up in fiscal year 2021? Okay. That's what Molly had mentioned to me, so I think that was the case. Government activities expense. This is just overall expense for the city, the government activities, not the water and sewer portion. Very on par with 2020. This is for the water and sewer fund. The green bars represent charges for service. Red represents the operating expenses. Again, this is the operating expenses, not necessarily the cost to service the debt. So as far as just operating, not inclusive of debt service, we are making a profit in the water and sewer department. Government activities, as we said, in 2021, with the COPs, we paid off the notes payable that we had in the past. Also, then with the new parks complex there, so we have more debt in 2021. But again, part of that was paying off the old notes payable. business type activities. This is, again, the water and sewer fund. We have an increase here with the new COPs and the refunding of the prior. Pension liability, as we spoke about a minute ago, we had the increase in 2021, but as I always say, the city paid every dollar they were required to pay. And this was kind of going back, we did have the one finding, this year. Anytime that we don't apply with all the standards, we have to essentially have a finding related to that. So, again, this finding is going back to that we didn't comply with GASB 83, the asset retirement obligation. We spoke about, the sewer treatment plant. Again, this is one of the, if I was sitting in your same shoes, I would have not implemented this standard. At some point in time, this becomes, easier. There's better guidance on this, and we can do it without so much administrative headache and cost. It might become worth it to the city to entertain that idea, but again, at this point in time, I think the city made the right choice. Any questions related to the audit?
Would you say it's typical of cities our size to make that decision?
Yes. This standard is fairly new, so I haven't seen a lot of reports out there, but I know of many cities who are choosing not to implement when they have a similar situation. To be honest, I really don't see much value of the city going through the administrative headache and the cost to implement this. If this is your only modification, I'll report.
Okay.
You guys are doing great. So. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
you, Mayor.
Would be check registered bills, financial report, sales tax report, Councilperson Becker, and Madam Clerk.
I'll move to approve the check register and bills and the rest of the financial report in its entirety.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Committee reports. Water Committee, Councilperson Picarella.
I don't have anything.
I will say that, there is a report on the well work that we've had done, and, Mr. Locke is really pleased with the outcome of it.
And that's taking into account the historic low in the river level and everything?
Yes.
That's great.
Yep. He was really pleased with it. Anything else, Mr. Picarella? You said you had nothing? Okay. Public Welfare and Fire, Councilperson Fisher.
Fire department had 35 calls in September. Had 4 alarms, 8 vehicle accidents, 1 wires, 1 oven fire, 1 gas spill. They had 8 mutual aids to Festus, 1 to Herpes, 2 to Duncan, and 8 to JPEG. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Building Commissioner, Mr. Cox is out. You have anything, Mr. Eisenbeis? Street lighting, Councilperson Bradley.
I don't have anything. Daniel's got his report in the packet.
Police Department, Councilperson Schonberg and Chief Helms.
No, sir, the report is in the packet.
Thanks. Council Liaison Reports, Library, Councilperson Fisher.
Nothing new.
Park, Councilperson Osher.
No, sir. Park's done well.
Sewage Commission, Councilperson Picarella.
The only thing I have, I talked to Jason the other day, because with also, it's got a little bit of an infiltration problem, where they're doing a study, a flow study right now.
Okay.
Every time it rains hard, we get
Yep.
quite a bit of water.
Yeah.
We're working to correct that.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Councilperson Becker.
There was a planning and zoning meeting held last Thursday night, which, contemplated a subdivision request from, Mr. Lonnie Compton. who, stepped down from being the chairman of planning and zoning, obviously, since he had business before P and Z. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to advance that to the council with a recommendation, but I don't think we have that here tonight.
No, we didn't get that written report yet. We had it
So we can
Thursday.
expect that next time.
Right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Zoning of Appeals, Councilperson Ginever.
There's a meeting planned for Monday, November 8th at 5 p.m., and it's regarding a temporary building that's behind one of the businesses on Main Street, Bailey, and it's too close to a sewer, so they're
Right.
applying for a variance, right? Is that how you understand it, Tom?
Peddle and Pie, yeah.
Kettle and Pie, that's what it is, right?
Yep. Anything else, Mr. Ginever?
Nope, that's it.
Levy Commission, Councilperson Schonberg is absent. Do you have anything on the Levy Commission, Mr. Eisenbach?
I do not.
Anybody that would like to speak of anything from the previous meeting and this past month? Going to old business, we have none. We have resolution number 2-2021. And it's also authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to execute certain expenditures under the American Rescue Plan Act.
I'll move to, do we read these by title? Is that how we do these?
We normally don't read them, you just make a motion to approve them, or CPA.
Okay.
Is this what we
No, that's fine.
discussed last
Yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Yeah. I'll move to approve resolution number 2-2021, authorizing the mayor to, execute certain expenditures under the ARPA.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution number 2-2021. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
And I'll move to approve resolution number 3-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor, Thomas V. Shilley, to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Jefferson County for the use of pictometry products.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution number 3-2021. Any further discussion?
Can we elaborate on this a little bit? This is not a recurring thing, is it? This is something we...
Your contract, the pictometry is put on usually on Rich's computer or
Yeah.
monitors, and they can zoom in on these houses, take measurements, a lot more than you can do just on the regular,
And
assessor's website. We have it now
And this is for like first responders and that type? No?
for the building department.
For the building department? Okay.
It's an agreement with the county, they have the pictometry software. They'll come
Right.
by, do training, put it on our computers, I think now it's just a URL to use the system. So we currently use it, it just gets us, they're doing a new flight in February, so it'll be.
It's like a,
Google Maps?
it's like a more spatially accurate version of Google Earth.
Yeah.
Basically.
And we've been doing it for like 2 years, you say?
We've
Or
been doing it for like 10 years.
10 years? Really? Okay.
It's
I
a
just...
handy thing to have.
We have to renew every so often, when we
Okay.
do flights and stuff.
Okay.
1,500 a year.
All right, I'm good.
Carried. Ordinance bill number 1853-2021.
I'll move to read Bill 1853-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of bill number 1853-2021 by title only, please.
Bill number 1853-2021 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas V. Shilley, to enter into a contract with Herb Equipment Company, Inc. for $119,700 for one John Deere 710L backhoe loader with an extended warranty. The city will not pay for or take delivery of this equipment before April 1st, 2022.
I'll move to approve Bill 1853-2021 on its first reading.
Second. The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1853-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Mayor, can I assume that even though we're not gonna pay for this until April, we need to get the order in now?
It's, yeah.
This is what we talked about, the work
Yeah.
session last week, that's got,
So- So all of these need to pass tonight?
I've already ordered them.
All right. In that case, I'll move to read Bill 1853-2021 on its second reading by title only.
I thought they were ordered that night.
Well, you guys told me last week.
Yeah.
You told me you guys.
No, that's fine.
So, spending that large amount of money, I brought a contract.
So the motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1853-2021 on its second final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, can we have the second final reading, please, of 1853-2021 by title only?
Bill number 1853-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Herb Equipment Company for $119,700 for one John Deere 710L backhoe loader with an extended warranty. The city will not pay for or take delivery of this equipment before April 1st, 2022.
I'll move to approve Bill 1853-2021 on its final reading.
Second. The motion's been made and seconded to approve 1853-2021 on its second final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Piccarella.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever.
Yes.
Councilperson Osher.
Yes.
Councilperson Bradley.
Yes.
Bill 1853-2021 now becomes ordinance 1853-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? The next ordinance we have, is bill number 1854-2021.
I'll move to read Bill 1854-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1854-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, can we have the first reading, please?
Bill number 1854-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Armor Equipment for $187,115 for one 2023 International Model HB 607 with a heel Durapack 5,000 20-yard high compaction rear loader trash truck with an extended warranty. The city will not pay for or take delivery of this equipment before April 1st, 2022.
Move to accept Bill 1854-2021 on its first reading.
The motion been made and seconded for Bill 1854-2021 on its first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1854-2021 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1854-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading of Bill 1854-2021, please, by title only.
Bill number 1854-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, to enter into a contract with Armor Equipment for $187,115 for one 2023 International Model HV 607 with a heel Durapack 5,000, 20-yard, high compaction rear loader trash truck with an extended warranty. The city will not pay for or take delivery of this equipment before April 1st, 2022.
I'll move to accept Bill 1854-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion been made and seconded to accept Bill 1854-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Picarella.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Ginevra.
Yes.
Councilperson Osher.
Yes, sir.
And Councilperson Bradley.
Yes.
Bill 1854-2021 now becomes ordinance 1854-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next ordinance we have is the next bill we have is 1855-2021.
I'll move to read Bill 1855-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1855-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion?
Yes. I read this for,
So,
yeah.
so this is basically the CDBG, which is Community Block Grant. This is, hiring Cochran to go ahead of our street projects and look at each intersection, for ADA compliance. So he'll go back, do an entire study of all our intersections. There's free money through this grant to redo these intersections ahead of our paving projects. We tried to do it this year, we got in too late when I found out the money was available. So this is basically a plan going forward, not just, well, I told him to start at the Jefferson project next year and go as far as he could, north to prepare so we can do this ahead of our street projects. So at each intersection, it can be a complete study, what we need to do, cost analysis, everything. So that'll be a separate project, so we have to have public hearings, an ordinance, all kinds of stuff. He's got 90 pages he has to fill out of this grant, but my understanding it's unlimited free money. So this is kind of just one thing for us to go ahead of our projects. So next year, this will be a separate project, just say, we'll put it out for bid or whatever. They'll do these intersections, and then we'll come in after with our typical street project, and everything will be ADA compliant. To just do the study, and to fill out 95 pages of grant work. And then next year, we get the money. And then next year, we'll have to do another one. Each year you do one, you have to do one of these, but once we fill one of these out, it'll be a little easier, just change some stuff. But it's basically free money for ADA compliance.
Is this from the state or the county?
This is through, we'll get this grant through the EDC, Economic Development Corporation.
Which
They,
is state?
to the county. They administer all the CDBG programs. So there's, I don't know the number, but she said fill it out.
I think it's actually a federal program,
It is.
and then I can't remember if it filters through MoDOT before it gets to
I
us or
don't
not.
think it goes to MoDOT. I
Okay.
think it filters through the CDBG and out at the,
Yeah.
Rosie does everything out at the county level.
I think that's the same grant the park did
Yeah,
for
that's-
all the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Those roads
Right.
that's out on that.
Yep.
It's Rosie that-
So I think that
Yeah, the comment I wanted to make was, in the past, we've occasionally wondered what we get for our EDC dues. This is one of the things we get for our EDC dues.
Yeah, I heard about it last year, and we just ran out of time before we did this project, so I think this is,
But yeah,
the
let's,
intersection can be done, don't cost us a dime.
other people's money is the best kind to spend.
It's our money.
I mean, yeah,
we paid to do that.
It's not free right
yeah.
Nothing free, yeah.
Nothing is free, that's for sure.
Well, I was just asking because there's a confusing website from the state that says that certain counties and cities are ineligible for the state CDBG, and it actually states Crystal City as being one of those, because they participate in a county entitlement program.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah,
okay,
So it's federal to the county, I'm assuming.
yep,
right.
yep.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No.
The motion has been made and seconded on bill number 1855-2021 on its first reading by title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of bill 1855-2021, please.
Bill number 1855-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shilley, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in the amount of $5,000 for engineering design and grant application services related to the Community Development Block Grant Program.
I'll move to approve Bill 1855-2021 on its first reading. Second.
The motion's been made to accept bill 1855-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
And I'll move to read Bill 1855-2021 on its second reading by title only. And I want to thank Mr. Piccarella for correcting me. Obviously, we all pay this money out. What I meant was, if we're not getting some of it back, we're not doing our job.
Exactly. I'll second that.
The motion's been made and seconded to read bill 1855-2021 by title only on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, could we have the second reading of bill 1855-2021, please, by title only?
Bill number 1855-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shilley, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in the amount of $5,000 for engineering design and grant application services related to the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Move to accept Bill 1855-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second. The motion's been made and seconded to accept bill 1855-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Loescher?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Piccarella?
Yes.
Bill 1855-2021 now becomes ordinance 1855-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
I'll move to read Bill 1856-2021 on its first reading by title only. And then I'd like somebody to explain to me what we're doing this for. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read bill 1856-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? Mr. Eisenbach?
House Bill 271 is why we're doing this. It amends, modifies the time period for candidate.
Right, okay.
So it's nothing that I did, you guys did, our wise state legislature, I don't really know why.
They changed the filing deadline, so we have to change our filing deadlines to match.
That's a match our ordinance.
All right.
So, it went from the 15th to Tuesday prior to the election to the 17th Tuesday prior to the election, from the 11th prior to the election to the 14th prior. So it just changed the days, or the 3 or 4 weeks.
So that puts it at like November?
Yeah, whatever the ordinance says, I don't have it covered.
I think it's December.
Specific dates are in there.
17th Tuesday prior to the election, I haven't figured it out. Do you think it's December?
It's, look in your...
It's in your,
on your,
city administrator's report, on the third item down.
December 7th. And closes December 20th. Oh, it is a 3-week period, okay.
their rules, not mine.
Okay.
That's shorter than it was before, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it used to be 4 weeks, now it's 3. Did we read this already?
You made
Yes.
somebody made a motion.
Yeah, there is a motion and a second on the floor,
Okay.
and discussion.
All right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading, Bill 1856-2021, please, by title only.
Bill number 1856-2021, on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, amending Chapter 16 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crystal City to amend Section 16-5, Sub A, procedure for filing for elective offices.
I'll move to accept Bill 1856-2021. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1856-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read Bill 1856-2021 on its second and final reading. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1856-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second and final reading of 1856-2021, please.
Bill number 1856-2021, on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, amending Chapter 16 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crystal City to amend Section 16-5, Sub A, procedure for filing for elective offices.
I'll move to accept Bill 1856-2021 on its second and final reading. Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1856-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. And we'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Osher?
Yes, sir.
Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Picarella?
Yes, sir.
Bill 1856-2021 now becomes ordinance 1856-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Next thing on the agenda is the city administrator's report, which should be in your packet. Jason?
On your report, you'll see two items for discussion. The first one being the water used by the pool. At the pool this past summer, as you can see, they came down considerably in their use as it has been in the past. I think the new filter is finally
They're tracking down
leaks and
They spent quite a bit tracking down these leaks all under the concrete stuff, so they're doing their due diligence on
Right.
trying to conserve that water, so. I think the year before was even more than 15, so that.
that's the number I had, but it used to be a lot.
Yeah.
Like double this, double, triple this.
I make a motion to transfer them.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
The next one is, moving the December council meeting from December 27th to December 20th.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Where's the old Aldi's building?
2300 North Truman Boulevard.
So it's way up by Herky, right?
Yeah, on,
Well,
right
no,
across from like Brandon Wallace Way.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the Festus has that.
It's like a flea market, it's just past the tire bar.
Yeah, just past Tire Market's about a quarter of a mile.
On the right-hand side.
That's what I thought, okay.
Anything else, Mr. Eisenbach?
I do not.
Mayor's report, I don't have a whole lot. Employees have been very busy, I do know that. And like in the administrator's report, they're gonna be, in Larry's report, they're gonna be flushing hydrants. And they've got some new, flush boxes out on the fire hydrants, and they've been working automatically at night, but we're gonna start doing some flushing during the day. I know we've had some complaints in the past over some, rusty looking water, and it's basically due to the flushing of the hydrants that we've been doing, on the time frame. But now we're gonna be doing some flushing, during the daylight hours also. I will go to the round table. Councilperson Piccarella?
No, sir.
Councilperson Fisher?
I have nothing.
Councilperson Becker?
Two things relatively quick. Jason and I set a meeting with Megan, Megan McBride, is that her name? Next Monday, the 1st of November at 1 o'clock-ish, to discuss some of the issues that we talked about at the work session, with, the Kelly Group.
Yep.
And work out what we need to do there. And, I just wanted to put this on Jason and the chief's, radar. I've had, in regard to the, subdivision of, Mr. Compton's property up on Taylor there, I've had a couple of the residents in the area ask me what we could do in terms of restricting parking to just one side, or possibly making that traffic one-way to reduce some, contention when cars are coming through there, because there's really not room. And then another gentleman that was at the, public hearing, or the planning and zoning meeting rather, was interested in seeing if we could get some sidewalks through there, so I just wanted to ask if you guys could start considering that. I don't know what the options are even, or what would work up there, but I know that it's been a...
I know, I've looked into it
in the
myself,
past.
Mr. Becker, and, I've had the same questions, people approach me on it. The sidewalks, we can look into that, where they end, but we may have to get some easements from people. The road is very narrow anyway. And I really did think it was a good idea, as far as when that does go in up there, to make that a one-way. And if I was going to make it a one-way, I would make it a one-way from the south end, from the north end, coming to the south end. Because when you come out of Parkview, you can go up and you can hit Jefferson, North Jefferson, or you can go on up and hit, Parkview up there at the park. Whereas you could also make a left and come right out of that, what is that? It's not an alley, but to me, it's like an alley.
Yeah.
When you come out of Parkview right there, it's Burgess. Make it one way from the north end of Burgess to the south end, rather than the south end to the north end. But here again, that's something we need to discuss, not only with this council and that, but with the people. And that's what I propose to do. And as far as...
I just wanted to see what
Right.
the options were, so we can come back and,
Maybe if,
yeah,
still parking on one side of the street first before.
Right,
yeah.
exactly, so,
If you start trying to move that road into what we talked about, not long,
Well,
the backyards.
right,
You're talking about really taking.
a lot.
I think we did look at that somewhat pretty extensively in the past, and there's really just not the right-of-way isn't there to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
And we have looked at that in the past. It's been quite a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago or so, but we have looked at it, yes,
Right.
so.
I know on some of those new subdivisions, though, they can implement, like before the subdivision gets in, the developer will do
Right.
stuff like
Right.
that on their end of it.
Yeah, we actually have, as part of our Great Streets, ordinance, some rules on what the standards for a street has to be when a subdivision gets built, before the city will accept it. The issue here is there's not gonna be any new streets being built by the developer. It's all gonna be on existing streets. So I don't think that applies here, unless...
Anything else, Mr. Becker?
No, sir.
Mr. Ginever?
Well, I think Mr. Becker might have hit on something that I wanted to, talk about. So Megan McBride is related to the Port Authority? Or,
No. This is the, consulting firm that we talked about having do some survey work for the city
okay,
in relation to the, ballot issue that we talked about in April.
okay. All right, I want to talk about the Port Authority,
Okay.
because you talked about, there was a lady's name that was thrown about a couple of times at our last meeting. I don't remember her name, and I don't know what her capacity is, because according to the paper, there's no head of the Port Authority right now, right?
I believe you're referring to Mary Lamy, who is the director of the St. Louis Regional Freightway, right?
Yeah,
Mary Laney?
Laney,
L-A-M-I-E.
That's the one we met with here,
we're going to be.
who you're going to meet with.
And she's kind of just acting as, in the
She
capacity
has
of...
nothing to do with us down here. She is the St. Louis Regional Freightway, who is everything port in St. Louis. And
Okay.
she is the one, when we go to, the Port Authority goes to an expert, somebody that needs help with, she is the person to go to.
Okay, so like a consultant then? kind of.
Well, I don't know if she's actually works for Bi-State or if her organization is part of Bi-State, but her office is in the same floor of the same building where the Bi-State, the agency that runs the buses and metro and all that kind of stuff is located.
Okay. And I got one other thing. I just want everybody to be aware of a situation that I was made aware of. A couple of people have driven down that road, I guess it's Beffa, west of 6167, and maybe coming out of McDonald's, and can't see that there's like a embankment that goes down into Harbor Freight, and they run right over that and just crash their car. That's happened a couple of times, so I made Jason aware of that, and he made me aware of the fact that that is actually the border between Crystal City and Festus actually maintains that road, but Jason thought that it was actually Jones, the property owner, that actually was responsible for that. So Jason wrote an email to all the parties involved, and Jones is saying that they're gonna put up a railing there within the next couple of weeks or so, right?
Very good.
Outstanding.
So thanks to Jason for that. That's it.
Anything else, Mr. Ginever?
No, that's it.
Mr. Osher?
No, sir.
Mr. Bradley? Chief Helms? Mr. Eisenbeis? Mr. Cherry? Madam Clerk? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We are adjourned. Turn this off?
Yeah.
Want to turn this off?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey,